And I'm going to talk this evening about the unassuming Q bid. It's a conventional bid. It's very popular, and I would say it's used in this country and in many other bidding systems. Although it does not necessarily go by that name, but it has the same meaning in American and lots of other bidding systems. So, for those of you who are watching this video afterwards on YouTube, you can send me an email if you'd like to join in these online lessons and ask difficult or interesting questions. So, the unassuming Q bid is a bid of the opponent's suit after your partner has made a suit overcall. So, it's used to show support three or more cards in your partner suit and interest in game, normally at least 10 points. And it is used as, it's also known as the invitational Q bid, and it's used to invite game in your partner's suit. In other words, a hand where you would have raised to at least a 3 level. So, for example, this hand here, North has opened a diamond, East, your partner has overcalled 1 spade. That shows a 5-card suit and quite a wide range. It normally would show something like 8 to 16 points. So you're sitting there with 10 points and you'd like to support your partner. And if they're close to the top end of 16 points, then you really want to be in game. But if they're a dead minimum 8 points, then you probably want to stop short. So if you and your partner have agreed to play the unassuming Q bid, and it is something you have to have agreed upon in advance, you can bid the opponent's suit here, bid 2 diamonds, and that is used to show support for your, let me just mute everyone again, to show support for your partner's suit and an interest in game. So on this hand, you'd bid 2 diamonds, and then depending on partner's hand, they would either accept the invitation or sign off in 2 spades if they can. So here, your partner's got just 9 points and they just bid 2 spades. So they're declining the invitation. And I hope you can see that these 2 hands would probably don't want to be in game here because you're going to lose 2 diamonds and 2 clubs. You'll probably make 9 tricks, but you don't want to be any high. You don't want to be in game on this hand. If there's been another bid like 1 diamond, 1 spade, 2 diamonds, you can again bid the opponent's suit here. You'd have to bid 3 diamonds, of course, and again with the minimum hand, your partner would just return to 3 spades, and again you'd probably just make the 9 tricks. By the way, if you do bid the opponent's suit like this, if North has got a good diamond suit like this, they could double, and that's not saying that they think you're going to be playing it in 3 diamonds. It's just saying that they have a good diamond suit and they're happy if their partner is on lead to lead a diamond. It's a bit like a double of an artificial bid. It suggests a lead of that suit. But again, here, if 3 spades ends the auction, that will probably be it. Now, here I've kept the west hand the same, but I've made the east hand a bit stronger, and it's actually 15 points now. And now when your partner makes the unassuming Q bid, I think I'm going to accept the invitation. It should be showing at least 10 points. And I would bid 4 spades here. And I hope you can see, looking at the hands together, I think I'll make 4 spades. I'm going to lose 2 diamonds and possibly a club, and that would probably be it. So what is the point of the unassuming Q bid? Well, the main advantage of playing it is that it allows a jump raise to the 3 level of your partner's suit to show a relatively weak hand. Well, one with at least 4 trump, designed to put maximum pressure on the opponents. And this jump raise very much follows the law of total tricks, which I think many of you are familiar with. And that suggests that in a competitive auction, you should be willing to bid to the level of your combined trumps. So with 9 or more combined trumps, you can compete to the 3 level. And it has preemptive value if you do it right away. So it can, we'll look at some examples of that in a moment. And the unassuming cue bid can be used both when the opponents have found a fit or not. And if they've not agreed a suit, bid the first suit that the opponents bid to show the unassuming cue bid. So let's have a look at an example here. Let's move that down there, where North has opened a heart, your partner's overcalled a spade, and South has bid 2 hearts. And you'd like to support your partner's spades here. And you could just bid 2 spades here, but you actually have 4 trump here, and you know your partner's got at least 5. So if you've agreed to play the unassuming cue bid, instead of bidding 2 spades, you could bid 3 spades. And that should be used as a relatively weak bid, a hand with 4 trump, but not one where you're sort of seriously thinking of inviting game in spades. The other thing about making this jump bid here is you should be thinking about the vulnerability as well. And you should be more reluctant to make that bid of 3 spades if you were vulnerable. Here I put the vulnerability is north-south vulnerable. If east-west were vulnerable, you might just decide to bid 2 spades, because there's as you know, if you're vulnerable and get defeated by 2 tricks, that's often a very poor score for your side. So that's really the advantage of the unassuming cue bid, that it frees up the jump here to the 3 level for a weak hand based on the combined 9 trump holding. And if we put up some possible hands here, sorry, just move this over there so it's out of the way. If we combine, if you look at the combined hands possible here, you may well decide that if you bid 3 spades, it may be that North-South decide not to bid 4 hearts. North has got a close decision, but only 15 points. So may well not. You may well be able to end up in 3 spades on this hand. On this particular layout, excuse me a second, it turns out that both sides can make 9 tricks. So with best possible play and best possible defense, North-South can make 3 hearts, whereas you can make 3 spades. So here, if you're able to get it in 3 spades, that's a good result for you. If I change the hand slightly and make North-South a bit stronger, you would again bid 3 spades, your hand is the same. And on this particular layout, although you can't make 4 spades, you can only make 2 spades, North-South could make 4 hearts. So again, perhaps you have a better chance of outbidding them by jumping to 3 spades.
Excuse me.
Yes.
You said unassuming bid, you have to bid the partner opponent suit, but you have, after the 1 spade, you have done the 3 spade.
That's right. So this is not an unassuming cue bid.
Okay.
It is part of the system of playing an unassuming cue bid, because it frees up the bid of 3 spades here to not show a hand where you want to invite game, not showing a hand where you're wanting to invite 4 spades, but to show this kind of hand with 4 trump. So it's part of the same. It's part of the system, but so sometimes with a stronger hand you make the unassuming cue bid, but with a weaker hand, but with 4 trump here, you jump. Okay, so the point is, if you weren't playing the unassuming cue bid, that 3 spade bid would sort of sound invitational to game, perhaps. So so it's part of the same system there too. the swipe comes under the topic of the unassuming cue bid. Just before we get on to some quizzes for you, you can also make this make an unassuming cue bid if your partner has overcalled in a minor suit. Um, uh, but it's a little bit more rare because if they've opened the bidding and your partner overcalls in a minor, it's quite rare that you would seriously be wanting to invite game in the minor suit, five clubs or five diamonds. What does come up again is a hand like this where you jump in your partner's suit to show a relatively weak hand with good trump support. So if you play if you agree to play the unassuming cue bid, you can also use this jump bid to show a relatively weak hand if it's a minor suit as well as a major. Let's have a look at a few hands, and I've got the first poll of the evening here. Here, North has opened a club. Your partner has overcalled one heart, and South bids a spade. And I'd like you to think about what you think West should bid here. I've put the vulnerability as North-South vulnerable, East-West non-vulnerable, and have a think about what you think West should bid here. And I'll launch that poll in a moment. Put the results. And the most popular response is three hearts here, with a small number going for two hearts, two clubs, and one person passing. And yes, I agree. Especially at this vulnerability, I think it's a good call, as long as your partner understands that it's relatively weak, with four trump to jump to three hearts. If you weren't playing unassuming cue bids, you might just bid two hearts with this hand, but that makes it a lot easier for the opponents to outbid you. And if you bid three hearts here, you may well find that that ends the auction. Now, if we look at the two hands together, you can see you're probably not going to make three hearts because you're going to lose two spades, a diamond, and probably two clubs. So looks like we're probably going to lose five tricks and probably go down one. But that might be a good result for you. If you think about it, you've got 18 points, whereas the opponents have got the majority of the points, and they've got a fit in spades. They've got an 8-card spade fit, which I can tell by looking at the spades that East-West have. So they almost certainly will be able to make a spade contract, possibly even game. But if your three hearts has talked them out of that, then that might be a good result for you. How about this one? Here it's gone one club. Again, your partner's overcalled a heart, and South has bid a spade. And I've got the next poll. What do you think West should bid on this one? Look at the results. And most of you have gone for two hearts, with a few votes for three hearts, two clubs, and one person passing. And yes, I agree. This hand is not suitable for bidding three hearts here. You've only got three trump. You should not be passing with three card support for your partner. And it's too weak to bid two clubs, which would be an unassuming cue bid. And you would happily end up in two hearts if you're allowed to play there. The opponents might bid more, but probably two hearts is, if you get that, if you're able to play there, would be a good result for you. What about this one? One club, one heart, one spade. Again, you've got support for your partner's hearts here. And I've got the third poll for you. What do you think West should bid on this one? Look at the results. And the most popular response is two clubs, the unassuming Cue Bid. Um, there are votes for a number of other things here: three hearts, two diamonds, and one person passed. Let's switch back and see what we make of that. Well, this time you really do want to invite game. Your partner's got an overcall, 8 to 16 points. You've got 11 points, a heart fit, and you've got a nice diamond suit as well. So this is one where, yes, you should be inviting game here by bidding two clubs, the cue bid of the opponent's suit to show a fit in heart and interest in game. What about the other bids you mentioned? Well, your hand is too strong for three hearts. Three hearts is smaller number of points with an extra trump, another heart. And it's also a bad mistake to bid two diamonds here, to bid your own suit. You have support for your partner's suit, and you should not be introducing a suit of your own, especially when you can support your partner's major. So two diamonds is definitely a bad choice here. You should be supporting your partner's hearts by bidding two clubs here. Let's just switch to looking at it from your partner's point of view. Suppose you have overcalled here. It went one club, one heart, one spade, and your partner bid two clubs here. Suppose North passes. I've got the last poll of the evening, which is, what do you think East should bid with this hand? So this time you're fairly evenly divided between four hearts and three hearts. And let's switch back. And yes, I kind of agree. Your partner's showing at least 10 points there. So you may well be thinking of you definitely don't want to bid two hearts here, because that would be showing a dead minimum. Your partner's inviting game, and I think it's a choice between either accepting it and bidding four hearts yourself, or saying, I'll further invite by bidding three hearts. So three hearts will be saying, I'm not sure, I want to know if your two club bid was a minimum or maximum for that, or so forth. I'm probably veering myself towards bidding four hearts here, I must say, even though I could be a little bit stronger. But four hearts, as it turns out, should make here. Although on the face of it, you have apparently in danger of losing two spades and two clubs. Whatever the opponent's lead here, you should be able to gain the lead, draw trumps, and cash your diamonds. And if you count your tricks you're likely to make, you can see you're probably going to make five hearts as well as five diamonds and the ace of clubs. So you may well make 11 tricks on this hand. The hands fit together quite well there, and you've got that strong diamond suit. So that's the main use of the unassuming cue bid. It is alertable as it's an artificial bid, and when your partner bids the artificial bid, you should click alert if you were playing on real bridge. And if you're asked about it, you should say something like, that's showing support for my suit and is inviting game.
Tony,
yeah.
in real bridge, wouldn't an alert automatically come up?
No, I don't think it does. The stop bids come up automatically.
Oh, okay.
That's what you're thinking of, but alerts need to be made. There is a setting in real bridge, I believe, to make it operate like BBO operates, where you self alert. But I haven't
right.
on. So it's just the same now as if it's face to face or real bridge. The
Do
jump,
I?
to,
Sorry.
the jump to, yeah, hello.
Hi. I've just got one question. Sorry, you hadn't finished talking. I'll wait till you finish.
All right. The jump to the 3 level is not alertable. But if you're asked about it, you can say it is relatively weak, but it shows 4-card trump support. So that's not alertable, but the bid of the opponent's suit is alertable. I also just wanted to mention why I looked up why it has this meaning, and there's nothing very clear about it, except the most likely meaning is that whereas most cue bids show something about your holding in that suit, the so-called unassuming cue bid doesn't say anything about your holding in the suit you've bid. But I don't think, I think in America it doesn't go by that name. It's just sort of thought of as standard bidding. But in the UK, it often goes under the name of the unassuming cue bid. I want to mention also that some partnerships attach other meanings and uses for the unassuming cue bid. And a very popular one is that it can be used in response to an opening bid when there is a suit overcall. So not just using it in response to an overcall, but in response to an opening bid. So, for example, a situation like this, so South here opens a heart. Now, you might be thinking what to bid with the North hand, but if West overcalls 1 spade, then if you've agreed to play the unassuming cue bid in this situation here, you could bid 3 hearts, not as an invitational bid, not as a kind of bid where you've got 10 or more points, but as a relatively weak bid where you've got good trump support and you're bidding as a preemptive bid. You might even consider 4 hearts on this hand. That would be quite reasonable as well. And if you do bid 3 hearts, you may find that it keeps the opponents out of the auction. And it turns out that on this particular layout, with best possible declarer play and best possible defense, North-South could make 3 hearts, whereas East-West could actually make 4 spades. They've got the cards quite favorably laid out for them. So that's another use of the unassuming cue bid if you've agreed to play it. But if I were playing with a partner, I would assume that they're playing it in response to an overcall, but not necessarily in response to an opening bid. So if you're playing that system here, what you would bid with this hand, where you actually do want to invite game, you have just kind of 10 to 12 points where you were thinking of bidding 3 hearts maybe, is you cue bid the opponent's suit 2 spades here, and that's telling your partner, you wanted to invite game. South here might decide not to go beyond 3 hearts, or if they, as it turns out, they can make 4 hearts here, and they'll probably only lose 1 spade and 2 diamonds. They'd be able to rough the clubs. So that's another use of the unassuming cue bid, but that depends on your partnership agreement. So
Can I ask a question,
yes,
Tony?
Shobha, go ahead.
After this last hand, you have done 1 heart, and the best is opening 1 spade. We have got like 5, 3, 8, 2, 2, 4, 3, 7. We can't bid 2 spade here?
You think West should bid 2 spades?
Yeah, in the best.
You think West should make a jump over call of 2 spades? Well, this hand isn't really suitable for a jump over call. Most people play that a jump over call is shows a 6-card suit with something like 6 to 10 points.
Suppose we had 11 points then? Still no.
No, I mean, specifically, if you play a jump overcall, that shows 6 to 10 points, and
6 cards.
should be a 6-card suit. Yeah.
Okay.
Just like an opening 2 bid. So this hand is suitable for a 1 spade overcall.
Lovely. Thank you.
Any other questions? If you don't have any more questions, I'll end.
Sorry, Tony, I've got a question.
Yes, Grace.
Hi. If you were to have only 2 card support, but 11 points or enough points to invite game, you can't really use unassuming Cue Bid, can you? If you only
No,
got 2.
not really.
So in that case, what would you do?
Well, you'd have to find another bid, right?
Right.
So if we go back to this example, perhaps here, if I took away a heart, then that would be suitable for bidding 2 diamonds, right? I'd
Yes, yes.
showing my own
I
service.
see. I get
Or
you.
you
Yeah, I
might
get
have
you.
you may or may not have a suitable bid, but
Yeah,
yeah,
great.
you should assume
Thank
your
you.
partner's overcall is 5 cards, and you would need 3 cards to support them.
Yeah.
Of course,
Thank
if they kept bidding hearts, then you might then support them later on with only 2 cards. But to start with, you should have at least 3 card support. Anyway, thank you for those questions. I'm going to stop sharing my screen with you, and we've got the game starting in just under 15 minutes. And I hope you found that topic interesting. If you are
Yeah.
playing today, you may well want to check with your partner that they are on the same wavelength about this convention. And for the rest of you, I will see you online in a little while if you're playing. So thank you all for coming, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.